All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 7 of your AP Calculus class with Biola Youth Academics. My name is Bethany Curia, and this week our lesson is going to look a little bit different. We're not going to be learning any new concepts, just doing some practice. A few weekly reminders. We do have our conference this Thursday at 5 p.m. My sincere apologies for the technological difficulties last week. I promise that will not happen again this week. We will be set to go at 5 p.m. You do have textbook homework due Friday. You're only going to have 10 homework problems this week. The word problems are a little more intense, so I made sure to go light on you guys this week. Please take the time to be thorough in your responses, triple check your work, and ask me if you have any questions. You also have a discussion board posting due on Saturday. And this one should be a very light discussion board. Overall, your homework load this week is very light. It should be a pretty easy week for you guys. You do not have an IMAX assignment this week. I'm going to be working with Biola and trying to address some of the concerns that you guys have brought up with IMAX. I've been going through it myself, and I'm starting to notice that some of the ways that they explain things don't quite match up with the way we've been doing things. So I'm going to try to make sure that Biola and I work together to come up with the best option for you guys. And we'll have that all set when IMAX picks up again after your midterm. So this week you have no IMAX assignment. You're welcome to go in there and read through their materials and use that as extra practice, but you have no graded assignments this week. This should also give you additional time to study for your midterm. You have a midterm exam next week. So that is definitely something that you should be planning for because it is coming up. Use this extra time in this light week to be studying, preparing, practicing, and asking any questions you may have. This week we are covering section 3.4, which is called Rate of Change by your textbook. This is a whole section on word problems. This section goes into a whole bunch of different types of word problems that you could potentially see on the AP exam. This actually brings me to an exam tip. It's been a while since I've had one of these. But one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to you as somebody who has taken this exam before is that you will see one of these types of problems in the free response section. You will have a rate of change problem on the free response test. It happens pretty much every year. Everybody I've talked to, every version of the test I've seen, all of the free response problems released, usually at least one per year, is going to be one of these types of word problems. A rate of change word problem that asks you to use the derivative to answer some questions. So this means that in your free response questions and in your homework questions and all your questions related to this chapter, you are going to want organization, you're going to want detail, you're going to want to be able to not just come up with the answer, but defend it as well. A perfect free response item on the AP test is well thought out and defended. So here are some of the keywords in a word problem that are going to tell you that you're working with the derivative. If they're asking for these types of words, you're looking for the derivative. I've also put down the exact page number of where the examples are. So if you're looking for example problems on a specific topic, you know exactly where to find them in your textbook. This should be helpful when you're doing your homework. We've got displacement on page 125, velocity on page 125, speed on page 126, and acceleration and jerk motion on page 127. These are all physics applications, very common in majors related to physics, applied mathematics, engineering, things of that sort. Marginal cost on page 129 is an economic or business application. And then sensitivity to change on page 131 relates to other sciences. So you can see that the derivatives have applications in a lot of different fields. It's not just for math, it's not just for physics, it's not just for engineering, it's for a wide variety of topics. And that is something that you'll continue to see driven home throughout the course. Now I have another exam tip from you. And this comes from my training with Kaplan several years ago when I trained with them. For the free response items, you are going to be graded on your work. They are not just going to be looking for a right answer. They are going to be grading your entire process. They are going to want to see that you take an organized approach to solving the problem. They're not going to want to read through a whole bunch of mess of problems where you've got work on one side, work on the other side, and there's no logical flow. Think about solving these problems like you're getting ready to write an essay question. If you are able to show your work in an organized fashion, have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion with detailed descriptions, this will earn you more points on the free response section. I promise you this is what they want to see. So these are the steps that I recommend to solving. This is what my calculus teacher taught me, and his calculus teacher taught him, and so on and so forth. First thing you need to do is identify the keywords. You need to know what you're solving for and what type of problem you're dealing with. You can refer to this list on the previous page to help you with that for now. Second, draw a picture or diagram if none is given. This may be a chart, this may be a graph, but some visual representation of what is going on. Next, you're going to identify or find the function representing your situation. Sometimes they'll tell you what the function is. Otherwise, they'll give you some data and they'll want you to come up with the function on your own. Either way, make sure you clearly label what that function is. For these problems, you know you're going to be taking the derivative of the function, so do so. The last thing you want to do is plug in any given values if applicable. And whether you're working on physics problems, economics problems, or other sciences, following these steps will work for any situation. That's all I have to share with you for this week. Please remember to email me if you're getting stuck on these questions. But remember, we're not doing anything new here. Have a great week, and God bless.